Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books. We know Strange World from Disney did not work out so well. It was a major bomb. But did we know that Disney actually knew it was going to be a bomb, but they did an international release anyway, just because they felt like they would? Because basically they were cowardly, they were pushing an agenda, and also they were already in enough trouble that they were afraid that they could get in even more trouble if they didn't put this movie out, even though the movie really wasn't ready. It wasn't as good as it needed to be to get released. Well, that's what happened. They knew it would be a bomb and released it anyway. A lot of people think they lost $100 million on this movie. I see it reported a lot of places. Apparently they lost $147 million according to Deadline. It looks like they've lost a ton of money no matter what. We're going to get into this article in just a second here. Before we do, please be sure you subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. You guys have been great. The channel's growing. I really appreciate you. Okay, so from Deadline, Strange World to lose $147 million. Why Theatrical was best decision for doomed Toon, not Disney Plus, as Bob Iger takes over as CEO from Bob Chapek. Okay, so here's the story. They did testing on this movie. They knew the tests were bad. They knew that it really wasn't it shouldn't be released. It should have been held on to. This was back in August. But Kareem Daniel, who's Bob Chapek's right-hand man, buddy, whatever, head of distribution, made the decision, well, no, we're going to go theatrical with this. And we're going to go international releases with this. We're not going to just put it on streaming. Now, they have already put a bunch of other movies on streaming. They've put other animated movies. They put all kinds of movies on streaming. And that's part of why they have the massive losses in streaming. But the losses are much worse than we know in streaming. Because when they take a movie like Strange World and they were to put this budget on this is anywhere from $135 to $180 million. People say something in that range. They pop this on streaming alone and not theatrical. Then they don't have to take it as a loss for a very long time because there's no actual final results on it because it's just people kind of watching the streaming. Right? So that's why Chapek was dumping a lot of movies that they didn't really know how to market or whatever onto the streaming service, which helped cause all of those losses. The author of this article spoke to someone who saw Strange World in an early test screening back in August, which still isn't that long ago, who believed Disney should have held on to the movie and not released it yet. They also asked why didn't Hocus Pocus 2 go to theatrical because it did really well on Disney Plus, and why did Disenchanted, a sequel to the 3-time Oscar-nominated $340 million plus global grossing hit, go to streaming? Like, why is that sequel going to streaming? Because these distribution decisions don't really make a lot of sense. Because obvious reasons. You can't just throw gigantic movies onto streaming and not, have the promotion that you have with a theatrical release. Not everything can go theatrically, but a lot of things should be considered for it, like David Zaslav is doing for Warner Brothers Discovery. Such questions will have easier answers in the post-Bob Chapek, Kareem Daniels era. It's clear Iger's move to put the distribution and profit and loss decisions back in the hands of studio creative heads, people who actually steer and make and complete the product, is an indication that smarter creative and financial decisions are afoot at the studio. Bob Chapek got his friend Kareem Daniels, and I'm sure it was for the best of intentions, but it just didn't make logical sense. He had Kareem Daniels make all the distribution decisions when movies were completed, when shows were completed. Is this going to be on Disney Plus? Is it going to be distributed theatrically? Is it going to be international theatrically? Is it going to be just on our cable channels, or who knows, maybe on ABC? There are a lot of important decisions to make, but Kareem didn't have the experience to do that. He had some success in business, but he started out as Bob Chapek's intern. I guess he felt he could trust him, but that's not enough. Disney hasn't commented on whether there's less movies going straight to Disney Plus as Iger takes over. The feeling by industry sources is that more expensive theatrical movies will go theatrical, and significantly lower budgeted ones without any big screen potential will make their way onto Disney Plus. No more opulent feature stunting to get subscribers is the sense they're getting, which is the same philosophy constantly said and repeated directly, openly, transparently by Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav about releasing theatrically as well as releasing on their streaming service, HBO Max. Disney's pivot to Iger and pushing out of Chapek and Daniel is a sign to many that the entertainment conglomerate wants to appease Wall Street's appetite for profits from streamers, not just subscription counts, because it's a new world now. It's not like Netflix from 3 years ago where people only care that you had increasing subscribers. They want to actually see profits. And there can be some very funny numbers when it comes to profits and very funny numbers when it comes to streaming subscription service counts. We've covered that in a number of videos. So if Disney knew Strange World with its problematic title was a dud, why did it go straight to streaming? They couldn't even come up with a good title for it. I mean, who cares? If you don't know if it's even coming out theatrically or not, it's not the creative people's problem. It becomes Kareem Daniels' problem. And I guess Kareem couldn't think of a better name. Disney has a history of launching listen to this. I was stunned when I read this. Disney has a history of launching a family animated title over Thanksgiving. Audiences come to expect that. That alone is significant reputation value to Disney and meeting their fans' demands. As if they didn't release this movie that pretty much no one saw, and the people that saw didn't like it. A few liked it, I'm sure, and loved it. But this didn't fulfill the demand of a good family movie over Thanksgiving. If anything, it drew attention to the fact that Disney doesn't know how to make good stuff anymore. Had Disney pulled another movie from the theatrical schedule and sent it to streaming, a standard Chapek business move, hiding God knows how many hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of losses. Especially at Thanksgiving, there'd be a great uproar from exhibition, meaning theatrical industry movie theaters. They've already had their share of punches in subtracting Mulan from the release schedule, not to mention their controversial day-and-day experiment with Black Widow, which also turned out to be a bomb. Had Strange World gone straight to Disney Plus, it would be a PR nightmare for the studio. So let's just release a complete failure that we know isn't ready, where people are sitting there. Movie theaters, they're only making money if people are watching the movies. You know, they rent the movie, whatever, and then they split the take. If they're not getting take, they're not making money. So they did not need an incomplete, bad product. Chapek made a mess of Don't Say Gay. So, of course, because there's gay elements in this movie, that would have upset more people. But, I mean, does it really help for whatever the agenda is when the movies get released and it gets rated badly, like by everyone? You know, what good does that do? In addition, a straight-to-Disney Plus release for Strange World would be a continued slap in the face to its animation team, which have seen years and years of their life's work intended for full-on theatrical go to streaming. For example, Pixar's Soul, Turning Red, Luca, and Disney's Raya and the Last Dragon. The return of Iger is also intended to boost Disney's creatives' morale in the wake of the binary and bean-counting Chapek era. An executive who one former Disney bigwig told me was known as the Swiss Army knife of executives at the company, able to make a profit at whatever division he took charge of, except streaming apparently. This is the mess that is Strange World. They knew they had a mess, but they released it anyway. Let me know what you think of this in the comments below. Be sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.